It's been a roller coaster of a week as Rockstar finally reveals the PC version of Red Dead Redemption 2. Sony finally confirms what we already know about the PlayStation 5, along with a few more details about the next-gen console, and what in the world is going on with Blizzard? All will be explained in this week's edition of The Rundown. Earlier this week, Rockstar Games not only announced the PC version of Red Dead Redemption 2, but they also revealed a release date for it as well. November 5th, just less than a month after its announcement and roughly a year after its release on consoles. The press release included a few 4K screenshots and also listed out the specs required to run the game at its best. The game will be released on Rockstar's new game launcher for PC, the Epic Game Store, and is slated to be a Google Stadia launch title. The game will also be released on Steam, but at a much later date. I hate to say I told everyone so, but I really did tell everyone so. When the game was released on consoles about a year ago, there was some leaked footage going around about the game that included a PC settings menu. Of course, it's only right to take that footage with a grain of salt, but the amount of work someone would have to go through to fake footage like that would make it not worth the effort at the end of the day. But everyone knows how I feel about the game at this point, so you won't see me double dipping. But I'll be looking forward to seeing what the PC version looks like compared to consoles. Also this week, Sony dropped some rather hefty details about the upcoming PlayStation 5. Besides the name. We already knew that. Why would it be anything else? They let us in on a release window, also not surprising, that'll be around holiday 2020. But what is surprising about the next-gen hardware is the amount of time they're spending on crafting the next DualShock. Not only are they removing rumble for haptic feedback that will allow players to feel different textures in an environment, i.e. if a character is walking in mud versus concrete, but they also are adding adaptive triggers that allow developers to decrease or increase resistance, for example, if a player is using a bow in a game. More details you can read about following the link in the description of this video. The adaptive triggers thing probably has me the most intrigued at the moment. If there's something I've always hated about the triggers on controllers is that it never really felt reactive to what you were doing in game. Pulling the trigger on a gun and a controller are not one and the same. Even more so when using a bow or putting your foot down on the accelerator in a car. But I can also see how this new tech will cause issues if, let's say, the triggers are faulty and they break for some reason. As for haptic feedback, it sounds much like the HD rumble in the Switch's Joy-Cons and Pro Controller, which means it'll probably be underutilized and forgotten about after a year. And that would be a shame, as when developers actually use it, it's pretty cool being able to actually feel things in the environment. Our last bit of news this week is a bit of a doozy. Activision-Blizzard has come under fire for banning pro Hearthstone player Blitzchung after expressing his pro-democracy for Hong Kong beliefs in an interview. Not only was he banned from further competitive tournaments, but they also reduced his winnings from $10,000 to $0. Keep in mind that Activision-Blizzard is also partly owned by Tencent, a Chinese corporation. This incited immediate backlash from the gaming community and has even gone as far as to spur Blizzard employees to show their disagreement by leaving the company and even staging a walkout. On top of this, many content creators for Blizzard Games have expressed canceling their subscriptions and even deleting their Battle.net accounts. And Hearthstone caster Brian Kibler announced that he will no longer be casting for the Grandmasters tournament. There's so much more to all this, but I'll be here all day talking about how quickly this whole thing has spiraled into complete chaos. But it's been quite a roller coaster. Heck, it even made it to news outlets like CNN, which is quite the achievement at the end of the day. Sure, Blitzchung may have sacrificed his Hearthstone career for the year for his beliefs, but the cascading effect of that with how much this story has gained ground means that his goal was achieved. The world has taken notice. Whether or not this will have an effect on Activision-Blizzard at the end of the day remains to be seen, but I do have my doubts, as it's clear which side of this equation they are on. And with that, we've reached the end of this week's edition of The Rundown. As always, links to these news stories are included in the description for those that want more details. And if you enjoyed or found this video informative or helpful, leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications when a new video hits, as I try to publish these once every other week. Social links including Twitch, Twitter, and Discord are included in the description as well, and as always, this is Corrupt Ronin telling you to stay sharp, assassins, and I'll see you next time.